Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation. I am so thrilled to have our next guest back. We're going to, either do one really, really long segment or two medium length. He has been a Spartan Nation contributor now for almost 10 years. Oh my gosh, that is so hard to believe. That makes me feel really, really, really old. I love him dearly. He's a terrific friend. He's a great husband. He is one of my favorite people on planet Earth. He's Coach Chuck Grenier. Coach, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Can you believe it's been almost 10 years you've been part of Spartan Nation?
Well, you said that, and I was thinking back, man, if it's been that long. Yeah, it has gone by pretty
fast. It was 2008.
Wow. Yeah. Time flies. Time flies, doesn't it?
All right, before we get into basketball and football, let's start with what's really important. How's the fishing? I heard you have your boat in the water already.
No, the water's still a little hard up here yet.
I thought Becky told me that you put the boat in the water with ice on the lake still.
No, we can't talk to Mackinac into coming up and clearing some ice for us yet. So no, we're still standing on it.
Well, as you know, my boat goes in the water the day after Michigan State gets out of the tournament, so I hope it doesn't go until April.
Yeah, you got to appreciate that.
All right, Coach, let's start talking about this basketball team. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want to start with the good. This is by far, top to bottom, the best group of human beings Tom Izzo's ever had. Awesome kids, great people. They are tremendous. Again, we're going to get into the bad and the good and the bad and the indifferent, but this is just the good. Terrific kids. 12-game winning streak to end the season. 11 games to end the regular season. They extended it to 12. The best record in Spartan basketball regular season history. And, oh, by the way, an outright Big Ten title. That is a lot of good, isn't it?
Oh, tremendous team, tremendous year. Great coaching job on his part. Yeah, everything was a great year this year. So, yeah, they deserve all those accolades. Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about bad, because you've got to talk about bad, it's there. Slow starts have hurt them. And the biggest reason slow starts have hurt them, Coach, is because they've got a bunch of unselfish guys. Nobody wants to come out and just take over. I had one of the players, I'm not going to tell you who, say to me, I don't want to be a ball hog. There's so many great players. And I think their lack of selfishness, or as Izzo says, no real jackass, and he doesn't say jackass, but you know what I mean, no selfish guy or no jerk to just come out and say, give me the ball and get out of my way, has hurt them a little bit. And I know that those slow starts are bad, but man, if that's the reason you're having slow starts, it's sure hard to get mad at the kids.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that they're unselfish. They're extremely talented. That's obvious. Extremely talented. And it does cause for some slow starts. I would have to think more than not having that quote-unquote jackass out there that just wants to be the ball hog and be the headline seeker in it. I would really I would put the blame, if you want to say blame on this one, on the slow starts, on youth. And I know they're good kids and everything, but being young, they look at the teams that they had trouble with throughout the course of the year. Purdue, seniors. Michigan's got some nice seniors there too that are leaders, and they've been there and they've seen it all. And the pressure doesn't really affect the seniors as much as it does the younger kids. But yeah, it would be nice to see a player or two really start to take over during this time and say, let me lead. I'll put you on my shoulders and go. Maybe a little bit more at this time, but I think more it's the youth of the team that makes and causes slow starts.
Okay, a little bit of a difference of opinion there, but we both agree on both points. They're very germane points. Next, I want to talk about jump shots. When your jump shot's going, it's great to shoot them, But this team has got to learn when their jump shot's not there, they have to attack the rim. They've got to get to the free throw line. Joshua Langford is a great player. McDonald's All-American. He's got a very smooth, sweet shot. But when it's not going, they're simply sagging off and saying, fine, go ahead and shoot, because there's no worry about him attacking the basket, and he is very athletic. Same with Miles Bridges. I tweeted and even put in the message on the Phalanx Forum and our message board during the game, if Miles doesn't start attacking the rim, they're not going to win. This team has to get a killer instinct for the rim, right or wrong.
Exactly. They've got so much talent down low. Yeah, down low they have so much talent, and they really start to utilize that talent down there. When you think of who they've got, Jackson, and you got Ward, and you've got Miles Bridges, and you got these kids coming off the bench, Tillman. They can do some things underneath, and if you can push them and make them play harder underneath the backboard and push it in there. Even in that last game against Michigan, you saw Bridges go down there, a spin move, go right to the hoop, and they had no answer for something like that, but they didn't go back for it. And if he can get more pressure under the hoop with those players playing there and start kicking the ball out, well, that's basically the formula that Michigan has, is that they kick it on inside and they kick it back out, and they have shooters on the outside. It's a lot easier for those kids to shoot the ball with less harassment and have to work harder to get the shot off than it is the other way. So, yeah, if you use the talent they have underneath, it really causes a lot of problems for defenses and makes it their outside shooting less harassed. And I think they would do a better job. But, yeah, they have to go underneath more.
Turnovers, they had 8 turnovers against Michigan. That's certainly acceptable. 9 or less a game is fine for me. But so to me, turnovers were not an issue against Michigan, but I think they could be in the future because it's been there all year. But I want to get to another point. And it's one that I want to, you've been a coach a long time. You are a coach who's had success at multiple places. So you understand human condition, and I don't care if it's Pee-wee, high school, college, or pros, people are still people. When you're Izzo, and I've heard people question whether or not, Izzo he's gotten soft or whatever, he's in a really tough spot because he has a group of 15 kids that idolize him. They love him. They worship him. They'd do anything in the world to please this guy. And when they screw up, they are so hard on themselves that he doesn't even get a chance to yell at them. He's playing counselor, and it's okay. Come on, I need you. Don't worry. You didn't let me down. I'm going. To me, I think that is the biggest change for Izzo. He's had guys that'll scream and yell and cuss him out in the huddle, and now he's got guys, Coach, I love you. I'm sorry. I mean, it's a whole different way to coach, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is. I see that out there, as a matter of fact. I was listening to the Big Ten channel one night, and Stephen Bartow was on there. And he said one of the things that he saw in college basketball today, and I think this really applies to Michigan State ball, is teams don't know how to stop runs and finish things out. And I think it's that spit in your eye type of attitude that players have. And I don't see it from the Michigan State kids either. I think with the talent they have and as good as they are together, that sort of thing, they try to outscore people and win games as opposed to making people not score on them. You understand what I'm saying in that?
Yep,
it's how to finish a game and stop a run and how to beat a team. I used to have a saying that I have, and I don't know if it's politically correct anymore. I said when you got a team down, you got to stab them in the heart. You got to get them so that they think they can't win. And I don't see that. I think that maybe is one of the major problems with this team, if you want to call that a problem, is the inability to beat a team, not just outscore them, but the inability to beat a team. And I know if I was Coach Izzo, and I think I see it sometimes on the sideline, that's probably what he harps about to these kids, and they just feel bad about it, I guess. But they don't go out there with the attitude that I'm going to beat you. I saw that in that Big Ten tournament from other teams, that we're going to beat you. And I think if he can get that going here in the next week, they could really go a long way in this tournament. But I think that's the problem that they have. So it's something to work on for sure.
I don't know if you saw it. I did a video with Steve Kornacki of MGO Blue at the Big Ten tournament, and I talked about Mo Wagner. He's a lot like Draymond Green or Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen at Duke. Everybody hates those guys when they're not on your team, but when they're on your team, they're your favorite player. They just don't. I mean, Miles Bridges is absolutely one of the finest human beings I've ever met in my life. Take away Miles' ability to play basketball, and he still is just an absolutely phenomenal person. I've watched this kid when a kid was just kind of staring at him and visiting with him, and Miles asked him if he wanted an autograph when all the other kids had gotten their autographs, and it was a kid that you could tell did not have anything. And Miles took off his shoes and gave them to him. And when I asked him about it, he asked me, please don't report on it or nothing. He said, but, I've been that kid. I didn't have anything to get signed. And so, they're just such a great group of kids. It's really tough to find that grit sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I agree with you totally on Mo Wagner. I don't know if it was the interview. I did see that interview you're talking about, but with Kornacki, but it was either in that interview or something else. Mo Wagner is the guy that everybody hates but wants on their team.
Right.
And that's that kind of and I agree. I wanted so many times to come through that TV screen in that game and give him a kick or something. But anyway, that's that attitude that I was talking about earlier, and he just gets under your skin. He gets in your head. You start doing things that you shouldn't do or you wouldn't normally do, and that's that kind of attitude. Now, when Izzo went to the national championship that year, he didn't quite have that kind of attitude on those kids, but those kids that he had right there let you know they were going to beat you, and they just put that dagger out and stab you every once in a while with it. So I know Miles Bridges. I see the camaraderie. I've watched some of the TV programs that they've had isolated on the Spartan players, the basketball players, and they're genuine kids. They're really nice kids, but they have to play with a little bit more edge, I think. And if they want to go a long way, that's what's going to happen. Talent alone isn't going to get you there. So,
well, it's funny because Izzo's joked about in the past if he needed to have a team meeting, he would send someone to Rick's, the local bar in East Lansing. He said, now I just tell everyone, find a Bible study.
Yeah. I know. And I sympathize with Izzo on this one, but, to have a group of kids that you work with like this is just a blessing. It really is. I know in the past, a couple of teams that he had probably aged him 3, 4, 10 years, whatever.
20 years?
Yes. I know, stressed him out completely. This team will stress you out, but in a totally different way. You're just saying, come on, guys, let's go forward. And they play hard, they play for you, but to be that unselfish player, they just don't have that in there. They're just a good group of kids, and I'll tell you, a national championship is something really worthy, but you're probably, if I was Tom Izzo, I would remember this team forever. This would probably be my best year, because it's just such every morning you go and you get up and you're just happy to go to work, and as opposed to coming out with a bunch of those quote unquote jackasses that you have to deal with. But it's I guess it's a two-edged sword.
Well, you know this. You've been around me a long time. Tom Izzo is a very dear friend of mine, very close, just like you are. And I can tell you, this will go down as one of his I'll just tell you this, and I don't want to betray his confidence private, and I would never do that to him. But I will tell you this. This is going to go down as one of the greatest group of people he's had, and he has never enjoyed coaching any group as much as this. It's totally different group to coach. He'll say to them, guys, you need to work on this. And then he'll come back the next day, and they're still in the gym. I mean, they've been there all night. They're like, guys, you got to get out of here. He's had to kick them out of the gym. And guys, you can't practice anymore. Get away. Go away. Well, coach, you want us to work on this? Yes, I do. But not all the time. Go get a life. Be a college student. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. We're talking to the great coach Chuck Grenier, Spartan Nation contributor. This is our 10th year. Man, that makes me feel old, and he's young. I'm old. He's not. 10 years is a long time. Coach, I want to get into now, we've talked about the good, the bad. Let's talk about the indifferent. And here are some things about this team that bother me. And I want to really just be real with you. I don't think they're good or bad. It's just question marks. This team is not going to win a national title or get to a Final Four if Joshua Langford and Matt McQuaid are not a bigger and significant group. Now, in all props to McQuaid, he is hitting some monster big shots. And if Josh Langford's not going to attack the rim, I think McQuaid's got to get more minutes. But I think we need more from the combination of those two, right or wrong.
Well, I agree totally on that one. McQuaid comes off, plays really good defense, and has hit those big shots. But yeah, I totally agree with you on this, but I think there's other reasons that it's not going to get to that national championship, and we've already discussed that about coming out and stopping runs and putting the dagger in the heart. But yeah, McQuaid has to hit a few more shots, and Langford, if you remember that national run, Charlie Bell,
yep,
being that second guard, that off guard, was just a rebounding machine. And I think Langford could really help us taking that kind of role as being a rebounding machine and being the shot from the outside when it's there.
All right, let's start with another one because there's another big one that you know. I love Nick Ward. I just love Nick. I think he is a great kid. I think he is a great basketball player. But clearly, I think he's struggling a little bit against certain matchups. That doesn't make a bad player. Magic Johnson had matchups that he struggled against. You're not going to be a perfect fit against everyone, and Mo Wagner was not a good matchup for him. But I'm concerned with Nick because they need him, and when he's not contributing sometimes, he can disappear a little bit.
Exactly, and I think a lot of my personal opinion, and I don't know Nick Ward, but my personal opinion from just watching him out there, it's rather easy to get into his head. And I know Mo Wagner did that the two times that they played, and it got into his head and took him away from his game. Nick needs to really expand his game because his game, in my opinion, is really limited. He's an in under the basket layup type of person. He needs to get the in and out game going with himself where the ball comes in and the ball goes out. It's almost like throwing the ball into outer space, into a black hole. It just goes there and it just doesn't come back out again. So if he can start to figure out how to get the ball, throw it back out, get a better position, and throw it back in, I think his game will expand a lot if he can develop a dribble and dribble out of trouble a little bit and have a figure out on how to, when the pressure, the double team comes in. I know teams are double teaming him left and right for one reason only, is because if they double team him, the ball doesn't come out and he doesn't know where to go with the ball, in my opinion. But if he can figure that part out, he can become a really big factor inside for them. So
Cassius Winston, to me, is the straw that stirs the drink. He is such a great shooter, but a lot of times it tends to happen in the second half. I think they need Cash Winston to come out on fire. I think he needs to look more for his shot early and not, listen, you want your point guard to distribute the ball. But when your point guard can score like that, I think you need him looking for his shot more early, right or wrong?
I think so, too, and I think that goes right back to the Nick Ward thing where you throw the ball in, kick it back out, and he's got that open shot. You're exactly right on that. He's handling the pressure a lot better than he did beginning of the year with the ball. The Michigan put a lot of pressure on him on Saturday and made him play to the sidelines more. And so that definitely hurt him. If he can kick the ball in, and then those guys can kick it back out to him where he's open, because when they start putting the pressure on him and they needed shots on Saturday, he seemed to be rushing it a little bit because they played him so tight defensively. Illinois gave him a lot of problem too. So he's improved his game as far as I'm concerned. I think he'd probably be the most improved player on the Spartans basketball team from the beginning of the year to where they are right now, because he's just got so much better and he doesn't make a lot of high school mistakes of throwing the ball around and trying to get fancy and that sort of thing. He's really limited that down, and he's running the offense really well, but they need scoring from him in the first half and the second half too.
Coach Chuck Grenier will be back. Chuck Grenier will be back. Chuck Grenier will be back.